Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my Blu-ray update number 4, where I'm going to show you all of the Blu-rays that I've watched since my last update, which was way back in September. So I have a huge haul here to show you. This is definitely not everything I picked up, just all of the Blu-rays I've watched since my last update, and there are definitely a lot. So let's get started. This is going to take a while. So take a seat and listen up. And this is going to be all out of order. Yeah. Jungle Book. Really like the slipcover here. And this is a Disney movie that I wasn't very familiar with. It's not one that I watched several times when I was younger, but I wasn't blown away by it. But you know, good Disney movie. Feels like a classic. It just didn't blow me away. Now my Blu-rays are sticking together. Ronin, starring Robert De Niro and Jean Reno. I picked this up only because it came with the RoboCop movie cache. I think it was $7.99 at Best Buy way back, but just an average mercenary revenge kind of movie. Some decent action scenes, but nothing too great in there. Captain America, First Avenger. I picked this up through Disney Movie Club. Was really excited that it came with a slip. I had seen this once before a couple years back, and rewatching it, I loved it. Really great movie, and really excited for the second one, which is coming out in just a few weeks here. But I think this is definitely the best solo Phase 1 Marvel movie. From the story to the action, I think this is really good. Next up, The Raid Redemption. I really enjoyed this one. Non-stop action. If you're an action movie fan, you can't be disappointed by this. Great action, great fight choreography. Really liked it. Gattaca, one of my favorite sci-fi movies. Really touching story. Really cool sci-fi element to the story. Classic Ethan Hawke. Uma Thurman. I really like this one. The Amazing Spider-Man. Just picked this one up recently. First time that I've seen it since it was in theaters. I hated it in theaters and felt pretty much the same way watching it for the second time. Just really boring. Almost no action, even less action than I remembered it having in the theaters, and not good stuff. I don't like this, but I'm really excited for the second one. Probably because I was so disappointed by this one. I think the second one just looks like a masterpiece, and I don't think there's any way that the second one could be any worse than the first, but not a fan of The Amazing Spider-Man. We have a few steelbooks here. Elysium, Target exclusive steelbook. I saw this movie in the theaters. Was a little disappointed by it, but a decent movie, decent sci-fi movie. It has some cool action, but way too much shaky cam, which kind of ruined all of the action scenes, but overall, a decent movie. Justice League War. Did not love this. This follows the new 52 storyline, and this was a new take on the Justice League origin story. I don't like it more than the original DCU Justice League Origins movie, the A New Frontier. I prefer that one. This is something different. It feels more modern, but it was just okay. But I'm sure going forward, they're going to be a lot better than this. Didn't love it. Just okay. The Dark Knight Returns Deluxe Edition. This was a Target exclusive steelbook. I had heard really great things about both of these movies. It says part 1 and 2 in it, and it didn't meet my expectations based on what everyone else was saying about it. I think I liked part 2 more than 1, but to me it just felt like they were cramming too many things in here. The Joker, these kind of the mutants, and then Superman as well. It was just all a bit too much, and I didn't really like how it came off. But still a good set of movies there. The Bourne Identity steelbook. This was the one that was released last year, December of 2012. Target exclusive steelbooks, and that's when I picked these up. But I hadn't gotten around to watching them until a few months ago. I'm pretty familiar with the first couple movies in the series, but I didn't watch the Blu-rays. But Bourne Identity, this is my favorite of the trilogy, and good movie. And the Bourne Supremacy. Still like this one, not as much as Bourne Identity, but good movie. And then the third one, Bourne Ultimatum. Things start getting a little too convoluted, the plot, and it's kind of hard to follow. I didn't like it as much as the first or the second one, but all of these movies are pretty long too, about 2 hours, and it's just, there's a lot going on. It's kind of hard to follow the plot, and I just wasn't too crazy about Ultimatum. And then the Bourne Legacy, a movie that I just hated when I saw it in theaters, and watching the Blu-ray, I did a complete 180 on the movie. I actually thought this was pretty good. I think they just did a really terrible job connecting this to the original trilogy. If they had made that connection more clear and been more clear with the plot, what was going on, I think a lot more people would have enjoyed this. But a lot of people, when this came out, had said that this was really boring, didn't have a lot of action, and I said the same thing, but actually didn't feel that way the second time. I thought it was pretty well paced with the story and the action, but yeah, it's pretty hard to follow and kind of hard to care about, especially connecting it to the original trilogy. Next up, The Croods. Comes in this really thin case. I got this at Target when they had their $10 sale. I saw this in the theaters and I actually didn't like it. I thought it was just a bit boring. I didn't really like the animation. Just an average movie to me. Some blockbuster titles I got during their closing sale. We Own the Night. This is a really good movie and it's really underrated. I don't see this talked about too much here in the movie community, and I don't see it in a lot of people's collections, but I really like this. Reminds me of The Departed, not just because it has Mark Wahlberg, but it has that police police force against the drug dealers thing going on. It's East Coast. There's some good action in here. I really like Joaquin Phoenix in here. Really underrated movie, Wheel in the Night. Next up, Warrior. A lot of people really love this. I had seen this a few years ago and then saw it more recently, watched the Blu-ray. And it is a really good story, but I'm a diehard MMA fan, and the fight choreography in here is just terrible. It's so unrealistic. Like, how they fight is just stuff you've never seen before if you know what you're watching, and I just can't look past that. But really nice story, pretty emotional. Nick Nolte, Tom Hardy give really good performances, so still a good movie overall. I just, like I said, it's very unrealistic. Next up, Side Effects, a movie I had never seen before getting the Blu-ray, and I really enjoyed it. Pretty interesting, unique story. Loved Jude Law's performance in here. I thought it was great. A different kind of movie. Really liked it. It actually made my top 10 movies of 2013. And a terrible movie, Haywire, starring Gina Carano. Her acting was terrible in this. She was so stiff. Every time she talked, she sounded like a robot, and I'm sure I do too. But this was just horrible. I hated this movie. I couldn't follow the story. Maybe I'm slow with that, but I thought this was just a mess, and it was horrible and really boring. Avatar, I actually picked this up over a year ago, and hadn't watched it since I saw it in the theaters. And when I saw it in the theaters, I thought, it was a decent movie, but just got way too much praise for what it was. Watching it for the second time a couple years later, visually, it's great. It's just way too long. This movie could be seriously an hour shorter. And the only parts that really kind of moved me was that last bit with all the action going on. Those are some really good scenes. Really good, really nice to watch. But the story, it's not terribly original, but I'd give it about a B if I was reviewing the movie. Decent movie overall. Next up, Looper, a movie that I was not crazy about when I saw it in the theaters. Everyone was saying how great it was, and watching the Blu-ray, I actually liked it a lot more. The action is fun, a really cool sci-fi element. Good movie, solid movie. Next up, The Incredible Hulk. I remembered liking this movie a lot when I initially saw it a couple years ago, and rewatching it. It had its moments, but what's really sad about this movie is that the best parts are with Bruce Banner, when Edward Norton is not the Hulk, he's playing Bruce Banner. That was more exciting to me than when we actually got to see the Hulk. Definitely did not have enough action with the Hulk, and it's just kind of disappointing. I really wouldn't mind if they rebooted this again. The Hulk that we saw in the Avengers, that was definitely, the best Hulk we've seen so far, and this, I don't know, it's just kind of mediocre. But I really did like, Bruce Banner in here. Just, every time the Hulk was on screen, it just felt underwhelming to me. Next up, Kick-Ass 2. Saw this in the theaters, really enjoyed it. It tries to go bigger and badder than the first one, and in many ways it does, but it isn't quite as good as the first one to me. Almost as good, but not quite there, but still a lot of fun. Great action. I think the humor in here is actually better than the first one, but really love Kick-Ass 2, and I hope they make a third one. I'm not sure if that's been confirmed yet, but we're led to believe that it's happening, but really enjoyed Kick-Ass 2. Next up, I have the 007 Daniel Craig double pack with Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. Casino Royale is great. A lot of action in there. The story is easy enough to follow, and Quantum of Solace is just a huge step down from the first one. Pretty boring, not a whole lot of action. You can just kind of skip over that one and just watch Casino Royale and then watch Skyfall, and you'll be fine. Quantum of Solace to me really doesn't fit in there with the other two movies, but I really like Casino Royale. It's a really good James Bond movie. Now we're getting into some Tarantino movies. Pulp Fiction. I had never seen this until a few months ago. Picked this up on Black Friday. I know everyone loves this, but I'm not going to go into depth about this. It's just, it's not my kind of movie. A lot of dialogue, which a lot of people love, but I really couldn't get into it. The best scene in here for me was the Bruce Willis storyline, and the pawn shop scene. I think was the most exciting part, but I definitely don't feel the same way that everyone else does about this movie. It's pretty hard to watch too. Not sure if I could watch this again anytime soon. Pretty long and just a lot of dialogue. I'd much rather watch Django Unchained for a good Tarantino movie than this, but yeah. Kill Bill, on the other hand, really enjoyed this one. I had never seen it before, but that has that signature Tarantino feel and tone to it. Really kind of odd, kind of eerie. Really interesting story, I thought, and the violence and gore in here, that's Tarantino's touch, but really enjoyed this one and felt the same way about the second one. Actually, I think I like part one more than part two, but still good stuff. Rush Hour 3, not as good as the first or second one, but a decent third movie in the trilogy. It has its action scenes and has its funny moments. It's decent. Office Space, classic comedy. I think everyone is familiar with this. Just a good movie about guys who hate their jobs. Not quite as funny as I remembered it being, but it's a fun movie. All right, now get moving into some DCU titles. Batman Year One. Much like The Dark Knight Returns, I had heard great things about this, but I didn't feel too strongly about this. Didn't love it. Focused a little too much on Commissioner Gordon, for me, but better than average, but not a great DCU movie as I saw it. Superman Doomsday, also not very good. Just kind of makes the grade. It's an average Superman movie. Nothing too exciting here. It's the worst Superman DCU movie other than All-Star Superman. Not a fan of that one. Justice League Flashpoint Paradox. This came out last summer in July, but I just saw it a few months ago, and I really like this. A clear departure from the Justice League movies that came before this. A really cool kind of time travel aspect here, and a really different animation style, which I thought was very kind of refreshing. Almost looked like kind of Japanese anime style to me, but I liked it, and the action definitely had a different feel to it than the other movies. It wasn't as cartoonish. It was more kind of gritty and violent. Not a perfect movie to me, but I really like this, and very kind of ballsy, the direction they took this and the feel they were going for, and I hope they do that with the Justice League movies going forward. I know they're on the New 52 storyline now, but comparing this to the latest Justice League movie, Justice League War, I much prefer this, and War to me felt too unoriginal and a little too bland, whereas this was, like I said, really daring, and I think this is a lot. This is a better Justice League movie than War. Justice League Doom. I really enjoyed this. The story, not as great as Flashpoint Paradox. I'm not sure I even like this better than Crisis on Two Earths, but pretty good Justice League movie. The action in here I thought was really cool, and they do a great job in all of these Justice League movies, giving all of the heroes their appropriate screen time. But I really like this Doom. Superman Unbound. To me, this is the best DCU Superman movie. Finally felt like we got a real look at how Superman should be portrayed. Way better than All-Star Superman, way better than Doomsday. Not quite perfect. I didn't really like the ending. It dragged, got a little boring at parts, but it had a great opening action scene, and really like this. We really get to see Superman, take on a serious enemy here. Good stuff. Superman versus the Elite, also a really good Superman movie. I would say that Unbound is the better movie, but this is more entertaining. A lot of action in here. The story, not quite as cohesive as Unbound, but really fun, good action. Superman versus Shazam. This is just a short. It's only about 20 minutes long, I think. I really don't have much to say about it. It's, there's not a lot to say. Basically, the story of Shazam, I didn't really care for it too much. And now we're getting back into some some regular movies. Prisoners, love this. This was my number one movie of 2013. Uh, it's a great thriller, great mystery, great drama, great performances from Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. Two very different kind of styles of acting, but they worked very well. Love this movie, and it makes me very excited to see Enemy, which is directed by the same guy that made this. I don't even know what his name is, and also stars Jake Gyllenhaal. I haven't seen that movie yet, and it's unfortunate that it has a limited release. But I'm hoping I can see that before it comes out on Blu-ray. I really want to see Enemy, but loved Prisoners. Mud. This was number 2 or 3, I believe, on my top 10 movies of 2013. Really enjoyed this. Great performance from McConaughey. Just a very charming, simple story, but very, very delightful. The setting really enhances this movie for me. Set in the South, on the river in Arkansas, and just some beautiful scenery. But more than that, just a really nice story. Really like it. The Last Stand. I saw this movie in the theaters, and I was pretty disappointed by it. I was expecting a really good action movie, and it's definitely not that. It feels pretty cheap. The action is not good, but it's an Arnie movie, and if you're an action movie fan, you gotta pick this up. I only paid $8 for this, I think, on Black Friday, and I have to have it there to sit on the shelf, but not a good movie. It's one you just put on to kind of laugh at. Next up, Olympus Has Fallen. Really enjoyable action movie. I saw this in the theaters, and I really like Gerard Butler as an action hero in this. But really solid action movie. I like this. And now we're back into some animated titles. Paranorman. I had heard great things about this when it first came out. And again, like I said with several movies in here, I didn't love it as much as everyone else did, as much as I thought I would, but kind of an interesting story about this kid who, sees ghosts and can see dead spirits. I'm not a huge fan of stop motion animation, but it was a decent movie. Charlie Brown Christmas. I'm not a huge Charlie Brown fan, although I do remember watching some Charlie Brown when I was a lot younger. The animation is kind of hard to get into. It feels very old. Yeah, this was from 1965, so the animation definitely feels dated, but it's kind of heartwarming to see all these little kids, getting along and trying to help Charlie Brown get that Christmas spirit, but it's fun for the holiday season. Couple more Christmas titles here. Christmas Carol with Jim Carrey. Great animation. These people actually look real. the characters in here. That's how good the animation is. That the animation is so good that they actually look real at times. I really appreciate that. But I watched this after watching a couple other Christmas Carol Disney movies, and I just couldn't get into this the same way. But one I would definitely watch every Christmas. Mickey's Christmas Carol. This is what I meant. I saw this one before watching A Christmas Carol, and really liked this one. Really nice animation. I really like the color in here. It was just way too short. It was like 30 minutes, if even that. Oh, yeah. It was only like 30 minutes. It says an hour on here, but that's including all the other shorts in here. The actual feature is only about 25 minutes, and that was too bad because I really liked, seeing the Mickey Mouse characters in here, and the animation was great, but it's just way too short. And then the Muppet Christmas Carol. This was I watched these all this past holiday season, by the way, but this was the one that I definitely enjoyed the most. I enjoyed this a lot more than both Mickey's Christmas Carol and the regular one with Jim Carrey. This was funny. Really liked Michael Caine as Scrooge here. This is the one that I'd probably watch first every Christmas. This is the one to go with, The Muppet Christmas Carol. And then the last movie for this update, The Little Mermaid Digibook. I actually picked this up on release day back in October when it came out. Just never got around to watching it until recently, and I loved this. Little Mermaid was not a Disney movie I was super familiar with from my childhood. I actually didn't remember much of it at all. I was pretty sure I would love it though, and it's definitely in my top 5 favorite Disney movies of all time. I just loved the animation, the color. I loved the music in here, the story, everything. Really loved this. I thought it was just a beautiful movie in every way. And this is the Target exclusive Digibook, if I didn't mention that already. But love this, and I can't wait to watch it again. Great movie. Alright, guys. That's it for my Blu-ray update number 4, and as you can see, got this huge stack of Blu-rays in front of me. This is what we're dealing with here, and I hope you enjoyed this. It's an addiction. It's a bad one. I'm not proud of myself, but thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll be able to do one of these updates sooner next time. Like I said, the last update I did was in September. I don't have as much time as I used to because of school and life and everything, but I feel like I get something good out of watching all these movies. But I'm beat. It's late. I'm tired. Thank you. Please like the video, comment with your thoughts, subscribe. Say something about any of these movies in here. Link me your update if you have one. But take care. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.